Good morning, America. The world is shocked once again by a senseless act of violence in the United States. On April 6, 1968, we were struck with the news that Martin Luther King was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. One after another, African Americans have died in the long struggle to bring racial justice to the American continent. Today we will be talking about the hardships that Dr. King went through during the Civil Rights Movement.
Martin Luther King Jr., an African-American civil rights leader who was shot at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee on April 4, 1968. King was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead later that day at 7:05. The shooter that killed him by the name of James Earl Ray was arrested the day after, June 8th, in London at Heathrow Airport. He later attempted to be tried by a jury, but things didn't work out his way. He was charged with crime and sentenced to 99 years in jail. We have gotten the report that Earl James died in prison April 23, 1998 at the age of 70. Before King's death, he entered the Civil Rights Movement, which worked for political and social equality for people of all races.
I spoke to 4 men who are the last living aides of Martin Luther King Jr., who were all witnesses of his murder. Jesse Jackson, Andrew Young, Samuel Kiles, and James Bevel were all in danger of getting shot as well due to how close they were, but the shooter found his intended target with 1 shot. Young, Bevel, Jackson, and Kiles explained to me that, although they witnessed everything that happened, no authority from Memphis Police, the Tennessee State Police, and the FBI have ever asked them a single question. Bevel says that he was never satisfied over how justice was pursued, and he believes a trial would have unearthed much needed information. He explained how the convicted shooter, James Earl Ray, should have been put on trial so that details of the assassination could have come out, but there was no trial where any questions could have been asked.
King's message of nonviolence, his relentlessly courageous pursuit of justice, the wisdom and tolerance of his appeal made him a leader throughout the United States and a respected figure in the world arena. Hello, Jackie. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here with us.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
So, Jackie, how did Martin Luther King Jr. influence you?
Well, to start from the beginning, I wasn't satisfied with being the first African-American baseball player to become a professional. I thought we needed to strive for more and fight against injustice. Martin Luther King Jr. and I became really close because we had similar backgrounds and goals.
What are your thoughts on the civil rights movement?
Well, I faced a lot of insults and threats because of my race, so I believe that the civil rights movement was something that was necessary to help thousands of African American lives around the world.
What did you do to help out with the civil rights movement?
I traveled across the country with determination to inspire other African Americans to stand up with me and fight for racial justice. And I also led the civil rights campaigns with Martin Luther King Jr. in Albany and Birmingham.
What was your main motive of the civil rights movement?
My main motive was my children. I wanted them to have a fair and equal chance in life, and I wanted them to have dignity for themselves.
Not deleting that.
Thank you so much for being here with us this morning, Jackie.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you.
See ya.
As you can see, Jackie Robinson was an African American that strongly stood for equality and against racism. His fears didn't bring his hopes down, and he fought for what he wanted, and he got it.
Martin Luther King was killed because white people were against the speech he made when he was talking against the Vietnam War and about poverty and unemployment. King's last words in his speech were, "I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. And I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord."
King is an icon of all civil rights movements. His life and work symbolize the quest for equality and non-discrimination that lies at the heart of the American and human dream.
Martin Luther King strongly emphasized and encouraged the importance of nonviolence. He provided leadership to the African American civil rights movement. King is famously known for his I Have a Dream speech and continued preaching his message even after being arrested for protesting. Martin Luther King wanted a society that came together and united because of character rather than color.